People not attracted to the ugly female characters in video games these days, and liars, welcome back to another video. Today we're doing a deep dive into Ubisoft. This dude over here, Legendary Drops, just dropped a legendary video. This will be the end of Ubisoft. As someone that very much appreciates a good downfall here and again, I do very much like to see a stock completely crash, losing over literally cucking themselves out to their audience. They literally went full pander, full woke, full broke, and I do have to say, I very much appreciate their downfall. As you know, subscribing here means you will witness every downfall on the internet with a good story behind it, all right? I will consume all the downfalls for your enjoyment. Let's jump right into it, baby. It's time to watch Asmongold get very upset over ugly female characters.
Silence your critics, lie to your fans, double down on poor decisions, ignore feedback.
Oh God, cook.
Oh, this is a big bag of feedback.
Yeah! Oh, peak intro, baby.
We don't need that. And then
welcome to Ubisoft, ladies and gentlemen, where we will make your cock soft when you see our main female characters in video games. Someone had to have made that joke before me.
Virtue signal from your C-suite.
Dude, I love the virtue signaling thing so much. It's my favorite thing about virtue signaling is they don't actually give a flying fuck. They literally do not even begin to give the tiniest amount of a fuck at all. It's great.
Office. That is the Ubisoft plan for success. That's to get them right back on track.
Yeah, the best thing Ubisoft could do right now for their own stock is to go in public, make a video denouncing some arbitrary political thing that is happening. I think Ubisoft should drop the anti-Trump manifesto. I'm just saying. Ubisoft needs to team up with Legal Eagle to sue Donald Trump for being a bad man in the past. I really think that would be very important. Ubisoft would definitely win over the hearts of a lot of gamers.
I am floored. I can't believe it.
You can't believe a massive giant game corporation will literally sell out their soul for the sake of pandering to make some Twitter freaks happy and wind up nuking their entire credibility? Yeah, that is pretty hard to believe when you think about it rationally for a second, but you forget one thing. You forget that they're pussies.
You know, everything that they've done, every action they've taken, everything that they have said has only dug their grave even deeper.
Look how he says it with so much vitriol and hate as I have a wide smile on my face, purely just sitting here looking at this downfall. Listen, there are a lot of people that are fans of Ubisoft. Or old fans of Ubisoft, rather. They like what Ubisoft was and they hate what Ubisoft is, hoping back to the glory days. But you made a drastic and dreadful error. A drastic and dreadful error. Your drastic and dreadful error is that this is what you look like. Chat, let me tell you something very clear here for just a second, okay? Listen, their company was never your friends. When they were an indie people just working on making something good and something big and something beautiful because they put passion into their craft, that's one thing. They are gone. They have been replaced and repealed with a big fucking conglomeration of virtue signaling pansies and pussies, okay? I'm just saying. They used to be Ubi hard, and now they are Ubisoft. And that's what you gotta do. You gotta throw them to the wayside and embrace something new. They were never your friends. They are a failure.
At this point, they're just diving in, and honestly, And
I'm gonna enjoy it every step of the way. I'll have you know. I'm just saying, I will be here every step of this path towards obliteration. Yes!
I really blame them. You know, I had hoped that after all of the bad press surrounding Ubisoft, with the failed launch of Star Wars.
I'm just saying, the investor in me was like, dude, literally, my Jewish heritage was knocking on my brains and being like, listen, they're a big company. They're gonna bounce back. Their stock is at an all-time low. Invest now. And then my heart told them, they have no soul. They have no heart. They are virtue signaling slop piles. They will go even lower. And then my brain said, no, but think about the stock. The stock is definitely going to go up in value. They're at an all-time low. And I was like, no, because video games, they're making worse and worse games every time. They're going to get cooked.
Star Wars Outlaws, them pushing back Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Oh, Star Wars Outlaws. Assassin's Creed.
That they would try to figure out ways to be able to trend in the right direction.
I have no morals and I must scam.
And then I thought to myself, why would they do that? I mean, come on. Now we have industry analysts that are predicting that Ubisoft is going to go private and then sell off their biggest IPs. And
we laugh. Chat, don't look at this in a bad way. Glass half full, motherfuckers. Glass half full. You have to look at this in the good way, all right? I've said this before and I'll say it again. The Witcher Netflix show was an absolute travesty, but Now that they did such an incredibly awful job with the Witcher TV show, Henry Cavill will no longer work on a story where he doesn't have creative control, and now he's working on Warhammer 40k with creative control, and hopefully that will be a masterpiece. You have to look at this glass half full. If the woke shit fails on such a massive, huge level with known, previously respected IPs like Star Wars and like Assassin's Creed, then you know what's gonna happen? Guys, you know what's gonna happen? We are going to circle back around, the pendulum's gonna swing, and we will bring glory back to gaming. I'm just saying, you don't want them to release mid-games. You want them to release absolute dog shit. I've been saying this literally the entire time. This is my hot take. I know it might sound bad for Assassin's Creed fans, but I'm telling you, Assassin's Creed fans, your sacrifices are a sacrifice I am willing to make.
To be honest with you, they're probably not very far off. A lot has happened with Ubisoft since we last talked about them. And at this point, their graceless downfall has turned into nothing but pure cinema.
That's what I'm saying. That's literally what I'm saying. Bring the media renaissance, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, God. I need some Beethoven over watching their fucking stock price obliterate itself.
Ubisoft, once a titan of the gaming industry, is now a cautionary tale of what happens when a company loses touch with its audience, its vision, and becomes so top-heavy that their only recourse is to squeeze their customers for all they're worth.
I do think that is part of the lesson. I think the bigger lesson is not just the fact that they don't respect their audience, it's the fact that they don't respect themselves. I know that that's gonna sound rude, but fuck Ubisoft, and I don't care about sounding rude. They don't respect themselves. I think the people that do the whole virtue signaling tirades and literally will go crazy and manipulate their audiences, manipulate their IPs, manipulate their stories, disrespect Japanese culture to come up with their own fucking narrative in Assassin's Creed. These are people that don't respect themselves at all, and they're people that are literally selling themselves out for some sort of agenda or some sort of social media glamour wars. They're gonna fucking lose every single time. You have to have some sort of self-respect here, and you can't let a mob on Twitter push you towards oblivion.
This is a story that we have chronicled before, a company plagued by scandals, internal dysfunction, and creative stagnation.
Yeah.
In my video, The Complete and Utter Collapse of Ubisoft, we retraced all of their obsessions with their annualized franchises like Assassin's Creed, Rainbow Six, and...
Again, they just keep bringing back the same shit, hoping to squeeze a little bit of cum out of these last bits of IPs that they still have.
Far Cry. Once their crown jewels, now their Achilles heel. By recycling mechanics, churning out uninspired titles, becoming increasingly more predatory with their monetization, and refusing to innovate, Ubisoft alienated their once loyal player base that could no longer stomach mediocrity. But their problems weren't just creative, they were systemic. As I pointed out, Ubisoft lost more than their...
Is that the employee of the month, Gustavo Fring?
...worth. The company has been hemorrhaging money, losing key developers and chasing trends instead of setting them. They gambled on live service games and large projects that nobody asked for, sinking resources into games like the long-delayed...
Oh, dude, this is insane. Bro, Concord, you got competition. Skull and Bones are the biggest finance. Dude, they were calling this the first ever quadruple A game, and no one played it. How incredible is that? Again, you could look at this as a tragedy that, oh my god, they spent $400 million on this game and it all went to waste. You are looking at this the wrong way. They got a $400 million ass-whooping lesson that will stop other people from doing this path as well.
Skull and Bones, a game that has now become an industry punchline.
I love
they
it.
lost it all on Star Wars Outlaws.
Oh god, it's so good.
Only selling a million.
And the fact that they fucking put Star Wars Outlaws on the Game Awards, literally to be like, listen, Ubisoft, we'll fondle your balls just a little bit more.
Million copies, and then further embarrassing themselves with a release on Steam. And they've closed the studio behind Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, arguably the best game that they've had in recent times.
There's no way! I didn't even know that they did that.
It's just because they overcharged for it. Add to that workplace scandals and allegations of toxic leadership, and it's...
I didn't even know about that, dude. Dude, Ubisoft is like the Niji Sanji of the video game industry. This is insane.
no surprise that Ubisoft has seen waves of talent departures and plummet.
Oh my god, Ubisoft lost 80% of its stock in the last 5 years? 80%? Wow, dude, that's incredible. Oh my god. Bro, Dogecoin is a safer investment than Ubisoft. This is crazy.
Plummeting investor confidence. Despite the warning signs of their games failing to reach audiences, Ubisoft seemed unwilling or unable to change. They clung to outdated design philosophies and tone-deaf marketing strategies, prioritizing shareholder appeasement over player satisfaction while accomplishing...
When saying shareholder appeasement, he means he's going to shareholders and being like, listen, they're not going to cancel us. Dude, we are going to have so many gay characters in this game. They're going to be shitty characters, and they're not going to really have a personality, but they're going to be fucking other dudes. And then the shareholders are like, yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about!
Nothing. Literally nothing. And while other companies in the industry have found ways to pivot or regain their footing, Ubisoft has dug their heels in, spiraling further into irrelevance. Fast forward to today, and the cracks in the foundation have split wide open. The struggles that we've talked about before are no longer cracks in their armor. They are gaping wounds.
Dude, it's pretty great to see. We're literally watching them melt in real time. This is awesome. Like, guys, I'm sorry. Dude, there are people that are like upset about this downfall. You're wrong to be upset. And if you are upset, I am invalidating your emotions right now, because they are wrong emotions. I am the worst therapist of all time.
Just recently, Ubisoft announced the closure of 2 studios, another devastating...
Oh no! They laid off another few hundred employees. Oh god, fuck me. Dude, you want to know something sad? You do realize that Skibbity Toilet has more respect than Ubisoft right now. Like, I want to put that out there.
Blow to their workforce and morale, and then they
hired Kamala Harris's marketing team for their new Assassin's Creed games.
XDefiant, a game that was supposed to show that Ubisoft could still compete in the realm of military shooters, instead becomes yet another entry in their growing list of failures.
There's no way. There is no way any new game that's a new IP they're canning because they're firing people. They're just holding on to the fucking globules of these fucking trash remakes of the same IP again and again and again.
Juice Van Duren, business professor and former CEO and co-founder of Super Data Research, a games marketing research company, is predicting that Ubisoft is headed for privatization and dismantling in 2025, saying, with the share prices plummeting from $28.19 to $12.30 year over year, the company has become an attractive takeover target. Its valuable assets, particularly Rainbow Six Siege and the Assassin's Creed franchise, could be worth more separately than together.
Dude, this is insane. I wonder how much they're going to be selling this shit for. I would love if a bunch of YouTubers got together and literally bought, like, the IP for Assassin's Creed. Like, that would actually be insane. That would literally be fucking crazy. Yo, Asmongold, I'm just saying. If you want to invest in buying the Assassin's Creed IP after Ubisoft keels over and dies, I'm just saying. I'd put in some doubloons. I'd invest with you, brother. Like, I'm just saying.
Now, something I want to be crystal clear on is that Ubisoft is essentially powerless. In the videos that I had made previously, I was just basically stating that the Titanic had hit the iceberg. They were already taking on water.
Yeah,
the ship
they're cooked. They're cooked.
Sinking. Their only options right now are to save their valuables and try to salvage what's left. That's the position that they're in right now.
Dude, that's fucking insane. Like, no, they're cooked. They're absolutely cooked. I don't see a way Ubisoft actually comes back. Especially because they're clearly not willing to even try making a game that's original at all.
You know, in a lot of cases, we talk about how difficult it is for some of these really top-heavy companies to be able to turn things around because it takes a while for them to do so. But we don't ever get to study a company that can't turn around. And that's the position that Ubisoft is in. And
no, they're cooked. They're fucking cooked.
Honestly, that's what makes this so fascinating. You know, when I had made the video talking about how Ubisoft had lost more than they're worth, I meant it. Truly, I meant it. They had too many games that they've released that came out to subpar reception or failed completely, and they spent way too much money on it. And on top of that, the company has too many employees to support.
Well, not for long. They're firing them by the hundreds.
Do people even understand that this company has over 20,000 employees working?
What? Why? 20,000 employees and they can't make a game? Are you joking? Ubisoft employees. They have 20,000 employees. Bro was not kidding. That's insane. Oh my God.
For them, they are massive. When you're making as much money as they are right now, that is not enough to support that many people. I mean, even...
Dude, and I'm just looking into this now because obviously I knew about all the Blizzard shit where you had people in Blizzard being accused of all sorts of things. But apparently the editorial vice president and marketing director were also 2 people that were accused of rape. Like, dude, this is insane. Oh my God. They are cooked. They are actually cooked. They're actually cooked. I'm just scrolling through news articles right now. 5 former Ubisoft executives arrested in sexual harassment case. Dude, oh my god, this is insanity.
If Assassin's Creed Shadows found success, let's say 5 million copies, that's a conventional success in gaming. That's not too bad.
Even if they do succeed, they're still cooked. Like, literally, even if they are succeed, they're still cooked. Listen, it's hard to make a good game. It's almost as hard to make a good game as it is to not rape your employees, apparently. But they're still cooked. They are still cooked.
That would cover their development costs and marketing costs. And then outside of that, not really a whole lot else. They would need a Baldur's Gate 3 or Elden Ring level of success. We're talking 10.
And they're not getting that. They're not getting that, dude. Their last game is gonna be Assassin's Creed. They're not gonna last much after that.
Plus million copies sold for them to make a profit on this game. And then even still, it's not going to cover up any of the mistakes that they've made with their other games, with all of the money that they've invested into Skull and Bones or
they're cooked. Quadruple A game downfall.
Star Wars Outlaws or anything else for that matter. And then keep in mind that their next games to release after this are much, much further down the road. We're talking years that they're going to have to survive on that money. Assassin's Creed Shadows is not going to sell that much.
No, of course not. It's aside from the fact that it's going to be shit and it's already been super divisive. Nah, it's over.
For Ubisoft to be able to patch the hole and get to shore, it's an impossible task. They're not going to be able to do it. But if they did, it would be one of gaming's biggest turnarounds. But to do that,
it's not happening. It is not happening. I'm sorry. It literally is not happening.
It would require leadership, strong leadership. But
I love how he's talking about this like if it does happen. It's not likely, but if it's not happening. We have witnessed the downfall. We're at the end. The rise and fall happened, all right? This is like, to put this into YouTuber terms, this isn't just a YouTuber that had a big scandal and is gonna try to pick himself from there. No. This is a YouTuber that got banned from the platform and also arrested, okay? This is like, let's see that guy come back, all right?
In this case, the captain is just heading for the next iceberg. Following the bad press surrounding Ubisoft, the delay of Assassin's Creed Shadows, and the failed launch of Star Wars Outlaws, you would think that the company would try to remain low profile, not make any waves, and not do anything to rock the boat any further. Disregarding all sense of caution, common sense, and reality for that matter, Ubisoft launched Champions Tactics Grimoria Chronicles.
Ubisoft quietly launched a full-blown NFT game! Again, I don't keep up with the Ubisoft stuff. I literally just pop in time and time again for the downfalls. That's what I'm here for. I'm just saying. I like me a good video game. I like me some good art. I don't think Ubisoft will ever produce something worth playing or worth consuming. I am not following Ubisoft on the day-to-day. But holy shit, this is incredible. This is the most mobile game title of all time. Dude, they made an NFT game, and that's it. That's how it always ends. Bro, Ubisoft announced collaboration with the Hawk-Tua girl on releasing a new game. Bro, honestly.
A tactical turn-based player versus player RPG. The gameplay markets as tactical play to win. This NFT game would see you buy and sell character pieces, earning
oh my fucking god
cryptocurrency in the
oh my fucking god
game that you could then turn into heroes and then
Ubisoft! It's not 2021 anymore! You canceled XDefiant to make an NFT game! Oh my god! In the new Hawk-Tua turn-based crypto game, you are gonna go crazy. Play as your favorite characters. Skibbity Toilet, the Hawk-Tua girl, PewDiePie's corpse. What?
You could sell that for real money.
Oh yeah, no, gamers have to hate PewDiePie. Game companies have to start hating PewDiePie. You don't understand. They're not allowed to have an opinion.
The common line of garbage that we normally get with these kind of games, or at least what they try to sell to their coped out audiences. But Ubisoft was selling characters for upwards of $63,000.
Ubisoft really came together. They fucking banged their heads together and they're like, all right, let's make Raid Shadow Legends, except with worse graphics, worse gameplay, and also where the champions cost $63,000 for the crypto. Oh, the glee! Oh!
To the dismay.
That's how you know it's over. I feel like announcing a crypto at this point is just putting up the white flags. I have no morals. I'm a scam. No, dude, honestly.
Of many playing the game in true Ubisoft fashion, it was broken at launch with claims of cheaters and exploiters.
Bro!
While Ubisoft tiptoed around their NFT game, Ubisoft's head of Assassin's Creed Shadows held back nothing when it came back to tackling the ongoing discussions about forced
These losers.
representation, and
Our creative team face lies, half-truths, and personal attacks online. We'll make a good fucking game, losers.
the influence of diversity, equity, and inclusion in video games. This has been a major point of contention.
You know my opinion on diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's legalized racism. Dude, this is actually insane. Oh, the misery. Everyone trying to kill my company. Spare the sympathy. Everybody wants to be my enemy. Dude, these guys are fucking losers. It's insane. Like, they are the worst capitalists of all time. Dude, these are the capitalists that Hassan wants to run the fucking entertainment industry. See, Donald Trump will walk up there. Today we're banning Ubisoft for being gay and lame. Lame and gay, we're banning them. We're gonna make a big ban. Legalize bigotry, true.
Influence of diversity, equity, and inclusion in video games. This has been a major point of contention for potential players and fans of Assassin's Creed, as this is the first game to be set in Japan. A fitting setting,
Which is so exciting, by the way.
for the franchise, but the game's main protagonist isn't Japanese. Assassin's Creed boss Mark Alexis Cote responded to player pushback saying, Assassin's Creed has always been about exploring the full spectrum of human history, and by its very nature, that history is diverse. Staying true to history means embracing the richness of the human perspective.
Yeah, so then have black slaves in Japan. Yeah, let's see you do that. Embrace the fucking human perspective of that shit. These people are literal liars. Again, they're literally lying to themselves and to everyone else. Like, bro, you're obviously not gonna do that. Obviously. Like, no one wants that to be a thing. Like, these people are actually so insane. Assassin's Creed takes place in Japan, and we have to focus on the diversity of history. Yeah, you want to focus on the diversity in history? Yeah, dude, what the fuck?
Without compromise.
I killed Ubisoft like a dog. A beautiful dog.
For example, in Assassin's Creed Shadows, we highlight figures both fictional like Naue, a Japanese woman warrior, and historical like Yasuke, the African-born samurai. While the inclusion
He's not a samurai.
of a black samurai in feudal Japan has sparked questions and even controversy, Naue, a fictional character, has also faced scrutiny for her gender.
It's almost like every single character in this game is literally designed, focused on their gender and race before focusing on them as a character. It's almost like that's what people are complaining about. The fact that past precedent had showed us time and time again, Concord, that it's a failure when literally the focus is on things that are not the actual story. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats.
But just as Yasuke's presence in Japanese history is fact, so too are the stories of women who defined societal expectations and took up arms in times of conflict.
True. He's so right.
Holy gaslight, Batman. I don't think I've seen anybody strawman this hard.
No, this is one of the most insane gaslighting takes of all time. Like, you can't even argue with these people in good faith. I love how they do this shit. It's like, they clearly hate women because these bigots and racists don't even want to acknowledge that there were, in fact, women in history. But you didn't know that women did, in fact, exist in history. You know, you wouldn't even be born if not for women. Like, damn, good shit.
I don't think I've seen any backlash regarding Naue.
Literally none. No one complained about the female ninja, ever. He is literally inventing bigots to defend against. People complained because Yasuke, or whatever his name is not actually a black samurai. He was not a samurai.
A Japanese female ninja is pretty fitting for a setting like this, and I'll be honest with you, if she was the main and only protagonist, I don't think people would be complaining nearly as much.
True.
I personally do not understand the inconsistency of the messaging here. First, you want to say it's rooted in history, then you want to say it's fiction, then you want to say you want to make a fictional character historic. I just don't understand why you keep trying to justify it. Why?
Oh, it's simple. It's because they're pandering and they have no morals. They don't have an ounce of morality. They don't even trust themselves. That's why they need to keep doing this shit.
Why don't you just say we made Yasuke because, well, we thought it would be entertaining and it's what we wanted to make, rather than making it sound like it's some type of noble cause. First they claim
because it was all about the noble cause. Because these people don't have an ounce of creativity left in their body. They're doing it for the gaslighting virtue signal points. They're not doing it to actually create a good story. That's what people are complaining about.
The game is rooted in history, yet pivot to emphasizing fictional elements while defending their creative choices. Then they blur the lines even further by trying to represent a fictional character, Naue, as a part of some broader historical narrative. It's as if they're trying to have it both ways.
They are trying to have it both ways. Because they don't want to admit the truth. They literally do not want to admit the truth. The truth is, they did it for virtue signal points. They did it to push an agenda. They did it to pander. That is why they did it. And they're not willing to admit it.
Asserting historical authenticity when it suits them while falling back on fiction when it doesn't. If the decision to include Yasuke was genuinely creative or thematic, then why not just own it? Say we wanted Yasuke because we thought it added something unique to the story. That would make it feel far more honest than trying to dress it up as some noble endeavor to try to highlight diversity. The over-justification doesn't reinforce the decision. It just makes it feel disingenuous, as though...
Bro, they're gonna make... Yeah, it's gonna... I'm telling you, we have a chance. What if Assassin's Creed comes out and Yasuke is just like Johnny Somali in Korea, and he's just like a total piece of shit? Then all the racists and bigots are gonna be so happy with the game.
They're anticipating the backlash rather than simply standing for their creative vision. Kote would go on to further justify their actions, saying, "This echoes the selfless bravery of our Assassin's Creed protagonists.
Could they stop?
They fought for freedom, knowledge, and the right to chart their own path."
Oh my fucking god, dude. You have to stop with this shit. You have to stop with this shit. What a brave character. Yasuke was so brave. Not only was he black, but he was also gay. They didn't allow gay people in Japan in his day, but he fought for what was right. You do know people fought for what was right at the past.
Just as we...
You know Yasuke was a slave in Japanese history? If you really want to make some sort of historical context, I don't know, man.
...do as creators. Fight to tell stories that matter in a world that grows increasingly divided. As the authors of How Democracies Die so powerfully stated, democracies crumble when good people decide to stay silent. The same is true, I think, of our creative freedom when we allow fear to stifle our voices. When we
He was a slave to a Portuguese merchant. He wasn't a slave to the Japanese. Bro, I don't know. I'm not making these calculations. All right? God damn it. That's not the point. The point is, they're not doing this for history purposes. We have modeled his character after George Floyd just for randomness purposes. Yeah, I'm sure you did.
Censor in the face of threats, when we hand over our power piece by piece until freedom and creativity both wither away. We cannot let that happen. It's time for us creators to stand firm in...
They're not standing firm. They're not creative.
...in our commitment to our values by telling stories that inspire.
Yes, and by contaminating and vandalizing a piece of art that existed in the past. Yes, we're gonna take this franchise Assassin's Creed and we are going to tell the story we want to tell by butchering this franchise. Oh, yes.
That challenge and help people to connect. Our silence cannot become complicit. This man deserves an Emmy. I am dying here. Please help. Is suggesting that criticism or backlash is akin to self-censorship, implying that questioning their creative choices is the same as threatening their freedom to create.
100%. 100%. When I said that the final arc in Naruto was a little bit shit, what I actually meant was lock Kishimoto in the dungeons and censor that bastard. That is exactly what I meant when I said that.
But criticism is not censorship. Players are pointing out inconsistencies, questioning decisions, and expressing dissatisfaction for a product that they're expected to pay for, and that's not an existential threat to your creative freedom. It's feedback. Treating critique as a form of oppression is not only disingenuous, but it's actively dismissing the audience.
Dude, it is showing exactly the issue with these people. This is exactly the issue with these people. They see one path, their path. Their path is justice. And anyone that goes against them, they are the unjust bigots and racists of the world that probably voted for Donald Trump. Like, dude, this is how these people think. And they're in an echo chamber with other people that think the exact same way. You will never convince them out of it. You will never convince them otherwise. They are losers, blocking criticism, acting in censorship purposes to vandalize a piece of art. And they're gonna sit there and grandstand, and they're gonna say, oh yeah, that's, you're censoring me, guys. We are the victims here.
Audience's role in this process. The invocation of How Democracies Die is especially egregious. It conflates real-world political and social crisis with the act of creating entertainment products.
Do you remember that time where the South Korean president tried to enact martial law? That is what I am suffering through now, trying to add gay characters to feudal Japan.
It's appealing to authority, using the weight of academic work to justify your inclusion of specific characters or narratives in a damn video game. But the game is not democracy, nor is it a battleground for your lofty ideals. It is a product designed for entertainment and for sale.
You see, this is your first error, Mr. Legendary Drops. This is the first error you have made in this video. You are wrong. The goal of these people are not for sales. The goals of these people are not to make a good story. The goals of these peoples are to pander and to promote some sort of ideology. That has always been their goal. Every single time. It is not about the game. It is not about the product. It is not about the art. You have this the wrong way.
And that's where the root of player concerns are right now. This is a product designed to be purchased for entertainment, and this is what you want to use it for. And then when...
Correct. They're using it as a springboard to promote their propaganda. Correct. Exactly. And that's why it's so nice to see it fail. You're looking at this the wrong way. A lot of people are looking at this as from the perspective of, this is a game. It's supposed to be made for entertainment. They fucked up on that scale. Huge L. I'm sad that they ruined my franchise. That is not the correct mindset. The correct mindset is the following. The correct mindset is, this is a video game that used to be something made for entertainment. Now it has been bastardized, perverted, and warped into a propaganda piece hiding as a video game, where people are trying to gaslight me that it is in fact made for our enjoyment, when in fact it is not. It is made for our indoctrination. And it failed. And this is a glorious day for democracy. Because you know what real democracy is? Real democracy is gamers voting with their wallets by not buying this piece of trash. That is democracy. Ubisoft's downfall is democracy. And I'm enjoying it. What can I say?
We find out that this game is reportedly being worked on by a staff comprised of people who nearly half of them have never even made a game before, with some of them believing that it is...
They're not game devs. They're pulpits.
The worst game ever, and your only response to players' concerns is your nobility and the belief that you're some freedom fighter? It only helps to prove that this game, regardless of its delay, will have Yasuke being the least of players' concerns. They're burying...
Yup. Because it's not about the game making anymore. You see, here's the thing. Let me be honest here. Let me be real here. You always have to take something and understand the motivations through facts, okay? Let's take the most logical path here. If their goal was to make a good game, who would they hire? People that have never worked on a game before that are really good at propagandizing? Or would they hire people that have made good games before? Now, let's be real here and try to understand the true motivation here behind nothing but facts. If I were to try to make a game and hire specifically people that don't have a history in making games, but very good historical sucking dick abilities, all right? What am I actually doing here? What is truly my motivation? I don't know. Answer it yourself. You gotta follow the money. And in this case, the money is dried up. Follow the fucking facts and figure out the motivations from there.
The lead. When I see a developer that is this wrapped up in their own social politics, I see it as a mining canary, that they are ignoring what they need to be paying attention to, which is making sure that they're making a game that players are actually going to enjoy.
Yep.
They're not paying attention to gameplay. They think they're writing a stage play.
And you know the craziest thing? The result of all this? First of all, he's completely right. And second of all, the crazy thing is, you know what the result is going to be? The result is going to be people upset anytime there's like a gay character in a video game. People upset every time there's like a female character that's not pretty in a video game. Or you know that's going to be the result. But and I used this as an example before, and I'm going to use it again. Arcane is one of my favorite shows of all time. It's a masterpiece. I really love Arcane. I do think that the ending of season 2 is maybe a little bit rushed, sure. But I think Arcane is truly a glorious work. A glorious evolution of what a game adaptation could truly be. Now, Arcane has lesbians, okay? Arcane has strong, badass female characters that are not conventionally attractive. My favorite female character in Arcane is Ambessa. She is not a conventionally attractive female character. She is not a, she is black, dude, a black, not conventionally attractive female character that's overpowered. She is one of my favorite characters in the show. She is my favorite female character in the show. And I'll be honest with you, that is a complete and utter slap in the face of anyone sitting there claiming that people are racists and bigots. I'm sorry. I'm just saying.
And I think that's what has a lot of players, a lot of customers that are genuinely upset and sick of a lot of these studios and many of their executives. This kind of speech that he is using...
Nux is woke now. No! No! The point that I'm trying to make is you make a fucking good story, you make fucking good characters, and no one will actually care. Nux is cooked. Oh my god, what did I do? I'm just being honest. I'm so sorry for being woke. I'm sorry. I take it back. Women, I hate them all. Okay, no, all right. No, never mind. No, we've cleaned our slate. We're safe.
Only serves to alienate the players even further.
But you get the point that I'm trying to make. Leftanor taking over? Dude. Right-Nor, sit down. Leftanor has something to say. No! My VTuber slop channel is woke. You finally drifted. Oh, they're canceling me because I said Mbessa isn't hot? I don't think Mbessa is hot. I'm just not into women that are like in their 60s, personally. Asmongold collab never happening. Yeah, it's okay. Again, I think Mbessa is not a conventionally attractive female character. She's black. She's overpowered. She's strong. She's awesome. And I have to say that I think, straight up, she's my favorite female character in all of Arcane. I'm just saying, it's fully possible to write a good fucking character that people are going to enjoy.
Because he's taking the conversation to a moral high ground that is so high, the elevation is likely to make you sick.
Damn.
Players are not rejecting creativity, diversity,
Nux, what happened to your hag maxing? I'm just not a hag maxer. What can I say?
or meaningful storytelling. They are...
And it's not because she's black, dude. Chet, you guys are evil. You guys are actually evil. I don't understand why you're trying to push me off this proverbial cancellation cliff, okay? All right? Her daughter, Mel, she is hot, okay? And she's still black. So, allegations denied, Nux not racist confirmed, full woke, Leftanor takes over. I'm just saying.
Are pushing back against...
Nux hates old women? Yes! That is exactly what I've been saying this entire time. Thank you, Chad. Finally, someone understands. That was sarcasm. Fuck you. Moving on. We're never gonna finish this video, okay? The point that I was trying to make is, if you actually have a good fucking character, no one will actually give a fucking flying fuck of a shit, okay? That's all that I'm trying to say. Mbessa, great character, all right? Lesbians, they're still awesome. We all love lesbians, all right? Listen, I'm just saying. The point that I'm trying to make is the fact that if you make slop and make believe that it's for noble purposes, it's still slop, okay? Moving on.
Pretension. And their critiques of a product being compared to assaults on fundamental freedoms.
True.
I think that's the most frustrating part about all of this, is that it's so easy to see that community concerns, player concerns, customer concerns are being purposefully ignored.
They're not being ignored. They're being dumped into the pro-Trump echo chamber. These people are literally gaslighting themselves into saying, that's not the type of audience I actually want. That's literally how they're living their lives, putting their heads in the sand, getting their asses rimmed out by someone else that has the exact same opinion as them.
This is patented intellectual dishonesty. And because of that, the players and the customers feel disrespected. And this is just a piece of advice that I'm going to give, but when players feel that way, they're not going to buy your games.
Again, that's democracy, ladies and gentlemen. Democracy manifest. Don't pay for the game. What can I say? I'm a Democrat at heart.
I don't think that I've ever seen a company so thoroughly and completely gaslight themselves as much as Ubisoft has. And they're good at it.
In their defense, it's really hard for them to read reviews when they're sucking the cock of another person with the same opinion as them.
And that's just...
like, it's tough to read at that. I've never done it personally. I've never sucked dick, but I imagine if I was, it would be really hard to like read reviews.
That's just the state of the company today. Now, following the abysmal launch of Star Wars Outlaws, the game reportedly only captured 1 million copies sold in an act of self-inflicted financial devastation. The company has chose to stay true to its plans to continue to support the game with more updates, reworks, and changes. In an interview with Games Radar, Julian Garrity...
Games Radar is short for Gaydar. You should know. I'm just translating for you. Don't worry.
The creative director said, I'm a little disappointed with the Metacritic. Recognition from the critics is very important to us.
Well, then you've already lost. You're not making games to appease critics. You're making games to appease consumers, the people that are paying you for the games. That you lost the moment you started this sentence. Oh my God. Hogwarts Legacy failed because the critics didn't like it. Yeah, it made $1 billion, but, well, the critics.
But I do think that players are really connecting with what we did. We had a very ambitious target. We literally reached for the stars, and I think that we were successful.
Ambitious project is making the shittiest Star Wars game in the history of the franchise.
From so many different angles.
Disney was very ambitious when they had space lesbians impregnate each other with the Force in the Acolyte. They were very ambitious. They definitely did something no one saw coming. I'm just saying, did all the fucking Star Wars theory channels bet not a single one of them expected that?
A magical, unique experience within Outlaws, whether it's Star Wars or not.
Well, it is Star Wars, so don't try to make a magical, unique experience that doesn't feel like Star Wars in a Star Wars game. Write your own goddamn game. Stop vandalizing my art.
Now, I want to pause there for a moment before I continue, because worrying about the critics is exactly what got Ubisoft into the position it's in today. As I go throughout this interview, they mostly end up talking about how they're still working hard on the game's story expansions as well as improving the base game. However, I can't help but feel as though this is just an exercise in futility more than anything else.
They need an exorcism. That's what they need.
And they would be better off refunding players who bought the Season Pass content and just cutting ties with the game. I wish that companies would stop being so ambitious about the future of their game and focus on the present.
I don't think they're ambitious about the future of their game. I think they just want to keep people believing that there is a future for their game.
What is the point?
I'm such a cynic. I am literally the most cynical motherfucker on this platform. I'm just saying. I don't even think they have a hope for the future. They just want players to think they have a hope for the future.
Of committing yourselves to future plans if you have...
It's an abusive relationship.
No idea whether or not players are going to even play your game in the first place. When Elden Ring was announced, I don't think that there was any mention of additional content that would come in the future.
On the contrary, Miyazaki was like, we are not making any more Elden Ring DLCs or more Elden Ring games. And then they surprise, whole new game coming out in 2025. Yep. If you want to see my reaction to the trailer, it's on the Bloodrunks' channel. He clipped my thing for my stream. But dude...
While there were hints and assumptions, we never got confirmation until after the game had released and garnered success. There's wisdom in that. I mean, Ubisoft announced back in September that Massive, the studio behind Star Wars Outlaws, would be moving over to start work on Division 3, the series that studio is loved for, which has already gone into pre-production. From my perspective, given the sales of Star Wars Outlaws and its tepid reception when it released on...
Ew! 600 players right now. What a fucking clown show, dude.
Steam, wouldn't it be a better idea to go all hands on deck with an IP that you know players want and you know that studio has the most experience with? It just doesn't make any sense, not from a customer perspective or from a business perspective.
Yeah,
however, lately, Ubisoft isn't known for having the brightest ideas. I mean, they just convinced themselves that Skull and Bones is a worthwhile investment, and they are telling players in the media that they will turn it around in the next season.
Dude, this is the fucking waitresses working in the Titanic serving cocktails while they're already half submerged.
Which, now that I think about it, that sounds oddly familiar. Ubisoft coming out to reassure players and the industry that, contrary to popular belief, one of their games is actually healthy and has a bright future. Oh, wait, that's right, XDefiant. Just a few months ago, Mark Rubin, the head of XDefiant, wrote a blog post and a summary of their year one roadmap for the game, and in it, he took the time to take on Insider Gaming's claims that the game was living on borrowed time. Rubin had said, I just want to quickly address the status of the game, i.e., is the game dying? No, the game is absolutely not dying.
No!
We know that there are things we need to improve, like netcode and hit registration and adding more content to progression, but
yeah, we know we need to change a few things, like, you know, all the things in the game. We need to, you know, we simply need to change, like, you know, the things that are in this game. Don't worry, it's okay. We recognize the fact that there are flaws. Bro, you're fucking cooked. It's over, all right? He's dead. Just bury him.
The game is doing well. We just wanted to do better, and we do that by addressing the concerns of the community, which has always been the plan. Ubisoft is very much behind us and has allocated more resources to the team in order for us to do that. Only for 2 months later for Mark Rubin to go on Twitter and announce that XDefiant will shut down and services will end on June 3rd, 2025. Rubin goes on to talk about how the game was a passion project, how difficult it is to get a live service game off the ground, and more. What I find really interesting is this section where Mark says, if there's something I hope we can take away from this experience, it's the importance of open, honest communication between developers and players.
Really? You think that's important? You think it's important to have open communication? I don't even know, man. I think communication is not even the problem. I think the problem is the developers are literally walking around in in a little fucking human centipede circle, glued, mouth to anus, into each other's fucking buttholes, sucking each other's juices that they're slurping out into their throats, and not actually willing to see what's going on. The communication is definitely working on the player side. You open Twitter and you see people talking about Ubisoft. That's communication. It's just somehow not getting through because these people are so holier than thou, high and mighty, that they're not actually willing to accept anything that they're saying. Anytime they receive any form of criticism, they take it as bigotry, and they're just like, oh, I'm getting hate, but that's okay because I'm getting hate from a Nazi, so I don't really care if a Nazi is criticizing on how I kill my Jews, okay? Like, dude, it's like, bro, fuck you, bro. Oh my god, like, what a huge L. Yeah, the problem is communication for sure.
Player-first mentality, along with respectful, non-toxic conversations between developers and players, has been one of the standout differences that made XDefiant so special.
Sure.
From my first post about XDefiant, this was the vision I wanted to champion. I hope it leaves a positive mark on how the games industry treats its players and communities. Yet, none of that ever actually happened. There was no honest communication or a player-first mentality when it came...
Never! That has never happened! Dude, let me tell you something about big fucking mega corporations. They don't care. They just want to move product or push propaganda, whatever their actual goal is. Again, I started getting into the entire gaming ecosystem thinking to myself that they were doing all these inclusivity shtick purely for the sake of profit. Because in my line of work, being a Jew, profit's the motive, okay? Profit's always the fucking motive. There's no motive that's not profit. If the motive isn't profit, then you're doing profit wrong, okay? You're doing motive wrong. But that said, they're all failing. All of these fucking woke DEI shits, they're all dying. They're all failing. I'm starting to think profit's not the motive. They're not hiring game makers anymore. They're hiring fucking diversity and equity and inclusion people. Like, I wonder if profit is really truly the motive, or if this is some moral high ground bullshit pussyfooting virtue signaling asshat talking. They're failing. They're literally losing money. Like, you gotta wonder, are they making money in another way? Are different employees and CEOs maybe losing money on Ubisoft, but maybe there is some sort of big fucking giant corporation funding them behind the scenes? Maybe it is purely for the virtue signaling bullshit. I don't know. I feel like there's a whole conspiracy theory that needs to be dug up here at some point. Are the CEOs being blackmailed by the Diddy files? I don't know. I don't know. I have no clue why exactly they're doing this, but it is not for profit. They are not making games this way for profit anymore. There is another reason, whatever it is.
To XDefiant or any other Ubisoft game for that matter. While the game had issues, serious core issues with netcode and hit registration, two things that are quite literally the backbone of a first-person shooter experience, that didn't stop Ubisoft from adding more microtransactions or season passes. Instead, the money printer kept printing while the issues kept pushing players out of the game. While Ubisoft plans to refund the players that had purchased the Ultimate Edition of the game and auto-refunded microtransactions that were purchased within the last month, there are still plenty of players that are left hung out to dry.
No shit.
I think that this is the crux of the whole issue with Ubisoft and many other companies. They're so caught up in their own personal identity politics, personal politics, actual politics, social politics, and all the different ways that they can make money.
It's a million different things that they have, except for making actual games. They can do everything except for make games.
Off of games that they have lost sight of the fact that they are providing a service and a product to customers. Technical and quality issues, or even just the vision of a well-made game that players will actually enjoy, is eclipsed by how they can commoditize, monetize, and use their games as a soapbox. Well, I definitely think that there's a problem with...
I mean, for sure. I do think that is just real. I wonder how this happened. I need to do a deep dive into this shit at some point. I'm so curious as to what this is all about. Fuck, dude, it's crazy.
Egos within the industry. I think that this mentality with a lot of these companies is born from the fact that they're publicly traded. They have fiduciary responsibilities. They need to make money for their investors, but
they're not making money. Like, these games are obviously failing. Like, That's how I went into this too. I feel like a few months ago, that would have been my fucking idea as well. That they have to appease these investors, and they're telling these investors, listen, we made $100 million on the last game, but we're also having gay people in the new game. We're gonna hit a whole new gay audience. We're gonna make at least $200 million on this one. All the gay people are gonna love this shit. And I do think that the investors are like, oh yeah, that's pretty fucking good, right? I do think that perhaps that might have been some part of all of this shit. I don't think so anymore. I really don't, because these games are not making money. I really think that there has to be something else. Either the goal is agenda over profit, or they are making profit in some other way that is funneling profits into them for a reason, to even for the sake of tanking their companies for the sake of some sort of agenda. But other than that, it doesn't make sense anymore to say that they are literally just doing this for money when all these games fail.
But I also think that it's a symptom of a much larger issue. Too much investment and too much inorganic growth. Many of the biggest publishers and studios in the industry are now incentivized by the sheer size of their organization and the number of their employees to make their games more expensive, to fill them with microtransactions, and to create things of lower quality.
It's the new scam tactic, for real. For sure. Every game now has 47 different loot boxes and add-ons and DLCs and skins.
They need to make as much money as they possibly can for a minimum viable product just to be able to keep their heads above water. They can't take creative risks. They can't create niche experiences. They can't make games that have their own identity because they need everybody to be interested in that game.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. They saw Fortnite and then everyone made a clone of Fortnite. That's what it's all about, baby. That's what it's all about. And no one's actually willing to innovate, because what if your innovation fails? I mean, you spent $100 million on this game. You're not going to take a risk on it, am I right?
They can't remove or limit monetization because, well, they need as much money as possible. So they bloat their single-player games with useless content to urge casual players to buy solutions in the form of microtransactions for problems that they created. Ubisoft as a company is a case study for this industry and where it is headed. They aren't alone in this issue. They're not alone in this race. And while games media and CEOs will happily blame toxic gamers for the issues of these companies, or say that the reason why games are failing is because of steep competition, they deny reality.
Steep competition? Dude, I hate that fucking concept. Like, these people think that video games are like computers, all right? When it comes to the market of computers, there's competition, because I am only gonna buy one fucking computer. Now, I'm gonna buy the best fucking computer that I could fucking buy for my bang for my buck. Now, if I buy one computer, I'm not gonna buy another computer from a different company. That's competition. Video games, that's not competition, because if Elden Ring is good, and Baldur's Gate is good, and Warhammer Space Marine is good, I'm gonna buy all three of them. Like, what are you talking about, competition?
The same as Ubisoft. Your games are boring, they're buggy, repetitive, and too expensive. We don't need you, but you need us. And that becomes more apparent by the day as we see
you work for me, motherfucker.
More games fail and more studios close.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Stop being upset, guys. This is a good thing.
Remember who you're working for.
Dude, you do realize that Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, and Zenless Zone Zero are all essentially reskins of the same exact fucking shit, and they each made billions of dollars. Yes. Waifus. Sure. Hot women. Yeah. Hot dudes. Shocker. People like that stuff. Much to all of our surprise.
Or you might not be working much longer.
You know, you won't. They're cooked. They're cooked. I just want that to be clear. They're fucking cooked.
Something that I've noticed, and I'm sure a few of you guys have seen this as well, is that art styles, themes, colors, characters, stories, even music at times has started to kind of blend together with some of these games. However, the most popular games, the games that have gotten some of the best sales and some of the best player feedback and retention and all that good stuff, player appreciation, customer appreciation, are games that are incredibly distinct. If I look...
No shit. No way. The best games are the games that are incredibly distinct and not just homogenized slop. Color me surprised.
Look at like Elden Ring or Baldur's Gate or Path of Exile 2 or any of these games. They end up standing out because they just don't look like or play like or sound like anything else that's out there. But if I take a game just as an example, like Dragon Age, and I rip off the EA and the BioWare logo, and then you tell me who made that game, Epic, Activision, I don't know.
They could all have made it just simply because, like, simply put, they could have all made the same game, obviously. Because it has no heart. It has no soul. It's all just aesthetics. It's literally all aesthetics. It's all outside things. It's all random pandering and random characters that don't mean anything. They won't tug at your heartstrings. It's a game that isn't actually willing to try anything new. And any of those massive, multi-billion-dollar corporate fucking juggernaut slop creators could have made the same shit.
Like, they all start to look the same after a while. And I think it's because they're all just chasing each other's tails. That's really all it ends up being.
As a wise man in my chat once said, any butthole can fart. Well put. Holy shit, Ace. Dude, well put. Dude, can we get a hand and a half for Demon Lord Ace in my chat, who came up with literally maybe one of the greatest lines in our modern era? Nothing but respect to you, bro.
They look to see what the other big company is doing, and they say, oh, we're going to do that too. And that's their big, great idea that they, bring forth to their boards. In the pursuit of growing, they lost their identity.
Dude, to quote my GOAT, Victor, in the pursuit of something great, we failed to do good. And that's these people spending $400 million on video games.
And it made them unable to stand out in front of other studios and other games. And as a result, they needed to make even more money, but they then continued to hire people. And as their companies grew larger and they had more money, well, then they needed to monetize their games and price their games higher. So what are you left with? You're left with overpriced, over-monetized, and boring games that fail to stand out amongst the rest of the competition out in the market right now. That's why games are failing. That's why you're not making any money. That's why the games that you're putting out aren't finding an audience, because there's other games that stand out much better, are much more original.
Sure.
And
no one wants to pay the crappy slop that you've already played 10 times before. Like, no one even remembers the stories of these games because they're so generic. Like, the story is just, it feels like it's AI generated. Okay, I complimented that one guy in chat, and literally everyone in my fucking chat became Shakespeare. You don't understand. Anything is a dildo if you're brave enough. Dude, any mouth can suck a dick, but not everyone should. Every fart comes from a butthole, but not every butthole is farting. The people obsessed with identity politics lost their identity. Dude, everyone in my chat is a fucking poet all of a sudden. Okay, guys, I'm not crediting. I'm just saying. I'm only gonna say it. It's only if it's natural. I'm not gonna sit here and credit all you guys every single time. Just saying. Just saying.
Value our time and money in a way that you just don't anymore. And it's also because you can't. Because it really does come down to just how big these companies are. They don't have time to think about what the customer needs. They can only think about what they need right now. And fact of the matter is,
I don't know what they need. That's the big curiosity. I don't know why they're doing this.
You just don't have what it takes to be able to compete in a creative industry anymore.
It's like, there's just an infinite amount of examples you can give in history of how the generic slop will always fail. Like, dude, the generic slop will always fail. It will always fail.
Because this cold corporate approach just doesn't work here. Simple as that. You're selling products based on people's wants, not their needs. You can't just do anything you want to what you're selling to us. That's just not how this works. Sorry.
Democracy. Don't buy the game.
Ubisoft has taken too many L's. They've had too many games that have failed, and they don't have enough games to give a positive outlook, not only for their investors, but just in general for keeping the company afloat, keeping your employees paid. Because if we actually sit back and look at every single game that they've failed on and how much those games cost them, well, that's all going on the background against any of the games that actually have succeeded, which is basically none for quite a while now, outside of Valhalla, and that was back in like 2018.
Yeah, they didn't have a single successful game in 6 years. Here, let me tell you something insane. All right, so this is shit. This class of 09, but it's very popular, and the game made an insane amount of money. Okay, this game made an insane amount of money. All right, now I want to show you what we're dealing with here. Okay, just because it's incredibly stylized, incredibly mega stylized, and that is literally all it took to be a super stylized game that is saying what it fucking wants to say. Okay, that is all it took to get a popular game.
I'm listening.
Do they have Septuple XL?
Man, you are one hot 16-year-old.
They have shit like that in there, okay? This is trash, but it's the type of trash that'll make people want to buy the game. This will make people want to buy the game. No Ubisoft company on the planet will put that in anything. And I'm not here supporting Class of 09, okay? Dude, there's literally a suicide hotline warning on the fucking YouTube video. I'm making a point here, and that point is, if you do the corporatized slop approach, you're cooked. You're cooked, Rizmaster. Shut up, Chad.
20 or 2019, something right around there. It's been a few years since then, and it's not enough money to float all of the poor decisions that they've made. Nor is what is it called? Rainbow Six. Rainbow Six isn't making enough money to be able to keep the entire company afloat. I brought it up earlier in the video. They have over 20,000 employees.
Oh my
They have
God.
offices all around the world. And even though people are in games, even though people in games media are like, they've laid off 300 employees.
Out of 21,000.
They have 20,000. Like, how are you paying for that? No wonder your investors are leaving. They're like, there's just no way that this company's going to be able to backpedal out of this. Their only choice, literally, their only choice is to go private and then sell their IPs. So that's, I'm saying.
Yeah, we're actually witnessing the end of Ubisoft. Like, Ubisoft is a massive game company, and we're actually witnessing the very, very end of it. Like, dude, as you know, I like downfalls, and we are literally here for a historic one.
Their only choice. I'm saying the owners. That's the only thing the owners can do to be able to make money for themselves, because honestly, that's likely the road that they're going to end up wanting to take. I would imagine that Tencent is probably on the opposite side of that, where they don't want the company to shut down. They want to keep it up. They want to keep the employees there because they want to make the games. And they probably think that they could do a better job at getting the company to produce at the level it should be producing at. I mean, take that however you want. I know people have a lot of thoughts on Tencent. I get it. You know, I'm not really a huge fan of corporate takeovers, but to be honest with you, a lot of the companies that Tencent has their fingers in don't really perform all that badly. So
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
Who knows? There's no
This
good.
is just ridiculous.
There's no good.
I can only predict that there will be more videos at one point in time. I'm not sitting here trying to like farm these guys every single day. I don't really want to do that. I just wait until there's enough to talk about.
And there's always enough to talk about. Like, we're witnessing a historic downfall, and I'm here for it. I'm here for every downfall. Subscribe for more downfalls.
more than I thought I was going to end up having to talk about. Man,
They're cooked. They're done.
pure. And
The Johnny Somali of the gaming companies.
this is too good. Good eating, my friends. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did enjoy the video, like the video, subscribe to the channel. You guys can follow me on Twitch if you want to see me.
Hell yeah. Definitely check out Legendary Drops. He is basically my go-to source for, like, game company situations and drama. I like his stuff. I think he has very level-headed takes. He doesn't get, like, into the weeds of the politics. It's pretty neutral, and I do appreciate that about him very much. And I am here to add the spice and flavor and cancellation material. So, hell yeah. Definitely subscribe to me, too. Anyway, thank you so much for joining. This has been a wild turn of events. It's a good downfall. It's a good downfall. To everyone crying about how Ubisoft was actually great and you're sad that Ubisoft is dying, don't be sad, okay? Your sacrifice is a sacrifice I am willing to make. Stay weird, fam. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fam.